Hear this.
Birdy num num. Birdy num num.
Check one, check two. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Birdy Num Num podcast. I'm having an okay week. I hope you all are having a safe and somewhat healthy week. What else do we talk about here on the BNN this week but the ongoing coronavirus, the COVID-19? I don't even know if there's an R there. But yes, and as you can see, for those of you on the video, we have a different setup. But the setup actually works this week for what I want to talk about with regards to the virus and your life and creativity, because I am now in the USA. This is my first podcast episode from the States here in California. And as you can see, I'm in a warehouse, which is my brother's office. He has a DJ and lighting company, and because we can't go anywhere, we can't go to the library, we can't go to a public space to shoot, we are literally just going to the office and back. And because I told you all I would keep recording and doing the podcast, here I am. And so it kind of works with what I want to talk about this week, which is, of course, every week on the podcast, I like to tell you guys tips and tricks I like to do, whether it's about motivation or creativity or podcasting or stand-up comedy. And, there's a lot of news right now about what's happening. Nobody really knows what's going on, but everybody knows they got to stay indoors. They got to stay safe. They got to stay protected. And a lot of jokes, a lot of memes, because what else do we do as comedians? But, even in times of stress, comedy, laughter is the best medicine. But one thing that got me thinking, we were on a run this morning, my wife and I was just thinking about it. Like, dude, everyone is talking about stay home and social isolate or social distance and don't go out to bars and clubs, and you're going to watch everything on Netflix and you're going to watch everything on Amazon. And for sure, and Zoom US, I saw like there's a software called Zoom, not plugging them, don't care if you use them or not, but like everyone is talking about teleconferencing and Skyping, and man, there's so many things that I think are a good part of all of us being at home and taking some time to pause with life. Because here's the thing, my friends, because we have a nice open dialogue, you and I, every week on the Birdy Num Num podcast, which is, of course, all of us really overcomplicate our lives, and all of us think we are way more important than we really are. And if there's anything I've learned from this coronavirus outbreak is, wow, a lot of people's jobs don't matter. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are like not going to work, or they're being called in to not work. A lot of people aren't going to work, or they're like kind of teleconferencing, or they're working from home. And I'm sure a lot of companies realize, wow, these employees have been logging in a lot less, and wow, a lot of those projects are a bunch of BS, if you know what I mean. So I'm not saying it's good that corporate America or corporate India can now realize half of its workforce is not doing much, but I think, a favorite quote I read was, you should definitely take things seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously. You know what I mean? Whether you're an athlete or you're a businessman or a stock trader, and stocks are getting hammered, but most of us take ourselves way too seriously. And as a result, we can plan our projects, we can plan our careers, we can plan our businesses, our weddings, even, a lot more than we plan what's in here. And the strange thing for me, or the good thing for me, I want to talk this week, obviously, about, if the title is not obvious, and my long-winded intro isn't obvious, is some of the positive to come out of this. And positive number one, like, one of the things I've realized with this whole thing is, wow, so much time has been wasted. You know what I mean? Like, I'm reading books again. I am playing with my nephews on the floor again. Not being able to go to a restaurant or a bar or just waste time has been a blessing. Like, I'm so fortunate that obviously things over here still seem okay, but now there's prevention. But man, like, how much of life is caught up in like meandering, just like pointless drip drab, if that even makes any sense. And like, I feel like I'm using my brain again to some degree. I feel like I'm talking to friends about the things that matter, not just having small talk. I feel like, I'm actually doing things with my downtime, whether it's reading books or, dude, I finally did my taxes that I've been avoiding. I like figured out some of my health insurance stuff again. Like, I'm like going through my stocks, although it's not a good time to go through stocks. Like, we take so many things for granted in this day of like digital automation and having everything literally simplified to the T. You know what I mean? Like it's just I feel it's a really big blessing. I feel like people after this are going to remember that it's okay to cook at home and not, dude. I like ran out of Swiggy like when I was leaving India. I think I finished Swiggy too because like I know it's going to sound such like a first world problem, but I was like, wow, I just don't want to order anything because all I've been doing is ordering because it's so easy and it's so cheap. And now, man, like the fact that you can only go to the grocery store once a week or they're trying to limit it is making me appreciate what I eat more. I'm wasting less food. You know, there was a story about the canals of Venice where you can see dolphins again. For sure, all this stuff is so cool. There's less smog in the air. You know, the economy, unfortunately, is at a grinding halt, and I know businesses are suffering. My brother here has a big wedding business, and they had a bunch of weddings that, unfortunately, my heart goes out to those people who had to, you know, postpone their weddings. Um, but aside from all the obvious headlines of the bad parts of the coronavirus during this time, you know, try not to take yourself too seriously. You know, try to remember the fun parts of life again. Try to remember that social isolation, you know, or social distancing means pay it like stop, like you're socially distancing yourself from strangers, but you are probably getting closer to the people in your own house, and I'm sure that's going to be a good thing, you know. So I don't really know how long this thing is going to last, but I do know in this day and age of work from your laptop, learn anything you can online, maintain relationships with your friends and family virtually or in person, you know, cook at home. Like there's so many exercise, dude. Like as of now, you can still go out and exercise and run around, and I am loving it. And dude, here's something that's also kind of weird that I've noticed. Like earlier in my life, I used to go to the grocery store like once a week. But now that I know the government or whoever doesn't want me to go that often, I find myself wanting to go more and more. I'm like, oh, we should make truffle pasta today, or oh, we should make, you know, dosa today, or oh, we should use Kashmiri rat. Like I find now that I know I'm not supposed to go to the grocery store, I still want to go to the grocery store, and I wish there was a way to hack that with other things. Like if the government should be like, we want you to eat fried chicken and unhealthy food, I'm like, I want to eat healthy now. So it's just so funny some of the things that I'm learning right now with this corona stuff. And I mean, be safe out there, you know, but you know, they say everything happens for a reason. And dude, there's just been so many, dude, I've been running like with this like Nike app, and it's very cool, by the way, Nike running for those of you who live in places where you can run around. And he was saying something like fear or what did he say? Oh yeah, risk is the dance partner of reward. Or reward is the dance partner of risk, or something like that. As the lights go out, I'm gonna try to move around, but okay, fine. The lights have gone here out on the warehouse, but that's another point. Now, if you're looking on the video, I want you to look nice and close, even though the aperture is lower and the ISO is not adjusted, and it's going to be darker. Here's the thing. Oftentimes we also hear in life that you need to go to a studio to record a podcast, or oftentimes we often hear that, oh, if you need to meet that person or make that sale, you got to go meet them in person, or oh, they're not answering my email, so what can I do? Well, there's a lot you can do. I have so many of you who message me almost daily in the last 2 weeks about podcasting and asking me questions and what are my thoughts. I'm in a freaking warehouse doing this. And if this corona thing can teach you anything, it's that a lot of your obstacles are man-made. Yes, people will not answer your emails. Yes, you'll get a no. Yes, people will ignore you, but then keep trying, dude. Every time somebody says no, it's just another opportunity to be more innovative, right? My wife is studying for her exams back there for some US doctor thing. I asked her to come here real quick and just check focus on the camera. If it's still in focus, I have no idea. But I'm sitting in my brother's warehouse because there's babies at home and there's no other place to record. But there's always like options. And I'm telling you honestly, like I've been doing this podcast now for about 80 episodes or 75 episodes, whatever it is. Very few of you have told me the audio quality is bad. I know it's not perfect, but you know, our numbers continue to double every few months. It's awesome. Thank you. But what you guys have taught me and what I hope I'm teaching you on this milestone, not milestone, but unfortunately viral in the wrong way podcast this week is like so many of us don't, like we just get caught up in BS excuses because they're convenient and they're easy to point to. But some of the best episodes of this podcast have been like the worst technically sounding ones, or the ones I record at the last second, or just random ideas I had. So, like, I was talking to a comedian friend of mine just 2 days ago, and he was like, man, I don't know how to make more content. None of my camera guys are getting back to me, or they're charging me too much money, or, the studios are all closed. And I'm like, why do you want to spend $400 recording something with two engineers that is going to be heard by seven people initially? You know what I mean? Like, get over that hump, do that for 6 months, and by the end of it, you'll have thousands and thousands of listeners. But I mean, everybody starts at zero, bro. And I would much rather start at zero at a time right now where society is basically telling me to start at zero. Do stuff anywhere you can. You have guys. I would hate, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this week's podcast, and this is probably hell, this might even be worse for some of you than actually getting the coronavirus. But if the economy shuts off, and if governments not shut off, but if you're basically given a 4 week or 8 week paid vacation by the government, by the tax authorities, by society, whatever it might be, if they give every single person $1,000 or 1,000 rupees, well, no one's richer because we all got the increase, was just inflation. But the worst thing that you could do right now, aside from actually getting sick, is wasting this time on strictly Netflix and actually chilling. Instead, if you're not going to the office, go to Udemy, as I always say, go to YouTube, listen to, I mean, here's what's funny about podcasts. I hope none of you, I mean, if you do listen to me randomly on your couch, great. But I hope you're also listening to me while you're cooking, while you're cleaning, while you're at the gym, while you're driving somewhere, if you can these days. So please, this week, as I wrap it up, and I apologize for the delay, please, please, please do not waste this time. Think of this as a blessing, that things are shut and that things are a lot slower, and you have a roof over your head, and you still have a cell phone in your pocket, and you still have the ability to check the internet and research stocks and do whatever and make money and learn stuff. Like, please stop making excuses. Okay, I am recording this in a freaking warehouse on a microphone that I've been using for 7 years and on a camera that I've been using for 9 years. And people still message me today saying, hey, what kind of camera is that? It looks really good. Not on the frame today, I know, because the light's turned off and the motion detector is not turning them on, and nobody wants to come into the warehouse because they know I'm recording. But I urge you, get to it. So stay safe out there. Be healthy, and I'll see you guys next week.
Birdy num num. Birdy num num. Birdy num num.